I'm done. No, I'm going to walk around too. Go to the next one. Okay, nistoni taan ko nina nistona ko nina peaks. Kitsiko connects much. Hello. You know, everybody says my name is. In our tribe, how I was raised is we don't say my name is Mike. My name is Nina Peaks. Nistona ko nina peaks. I am Chief Bird, not my name is. And the big difference is that it incorporates my whole being and my spirit, ancestors, everything. My name is sort of the, you know, kind of a short version. And so I was traditionally raised, and somebody said, when you eat with your parents, grandparents, great grandparents, I was fortunate to have that experience, you know, to be eating with your great grandfather, great grandmother that were born just this side of 1877, the Treaty 7, and all through there in the beginning of boarding schools and all that. So, and then telling me their history from their parents and their grandparents. So, I probably heard stories from the walking days, the dog days, before the horse days, back in the 1600s, you know, from the stories passed on. And being a little guy, sure I was kind of mischievous, but in a good way. Hearing that, always listening. And so I speak Old Black with it's like I asked if we have eight, see, we go. I'm going to use a lot of pictures. Somebody said 1,000 words per picture. Well, you can see a whole bunch. There'll be a billion words and pictures. This is Waterton National Park, right in the corner. And Waterton is over here, and a friend of mine, Gord Russell, his brother Charlie Russell, just passed away this past spring. Charlie, I don't know if you guys have read his book. I think it's 12 years, lived in, I forget, it starts with K, on the east part of Russia, and lived with grizzly bears. What is the name again? Yes, that's what I was trying to say. And, you know, and so I've met a lot of other people. My grandfather used to tell me, when you go places or you meet somebody on the road, on horseback, on the wagon, in the prairie, in modern times, today is meant for all of us to meet. Anna kita ko tat si mana kumatapya aniksis si kui ko kui. Kimana tu tat si ma. Those people you're going to meet is meant to be. In our word, and I assume in Stony, in Dakota, Cree, those are meant to be. There's no such thing as coincidence. There's no such thing. We want to talk Indigenous thought, and that's what I'm going to be kind of concentrating and use to throw and keep and all that. I feel comfortable talking here. It'd be very different if all of you were oil executives or straight third generation politicians or whatever. We all are talking about the land and everything, plants, animals, water. And so I welcome these invites. Mind you, I have turned down some invitations where, okay, redneck crowd, okay, gee, they're going to talk dollars, okay. You know, I guess this is where we're all meant to be today. You've heard from the previous speakers, all of them getting up from early this morning. What's his name? The first speaker. Yeah, it reminds me when they're in a teepee or out in the prairie on a warm day, elders, young people sitting around, now kitchen table, supper time, and they're all telling stories. This person, that person, that person. That's what all the presentations remind me of today. We all continue learning from each other. I've learned a lot today. You know, my mind going back in the time and to the future, to now, to the future. So Waterton, we go back to Waterton. Indigenous knowledge is language. And how we see things through, for me, eyes of a Blackfoot. Nuapsvikstan starts the PCP. How I interpret as a child to now of the world thing. And the stories that have been passed on. I just told you my great-grandfather, great-grandmother's stories, all that. Indigenous knowledge is kind of being thrown academically. Don't, if there's such a thing, academic eyes, indigenous knowledge, or learning from place. When you're going to write about it, talk about, think about it, pretend you're native, pretend you're First Nations. How would I interpret all that? Throw the urban thought, throw the academic world, and just be yourself. Because all of us, without our titles sitting here, we're all human beings. All of us could have 20 other things on our resumes and probably hit the floor, you know. When we take away titles, that grounds you. Because sometimes those titles we live 20, like Dr. Little Bear. I got up, went to the bathroom, started washing jumped in the shower, shampoo, soap, everything, all that, braided my hair. To ask, like he says, how come I'm using shampoo? But we're just doing it, We do those things without anything about it, So what I'm trying to set here is just a setting. We're all human beings. When we go to that good place, you're not going to be judged, if you're the director, executive director, millionaire over this, where's your bank account, thrown to the And to me, that's what I like about these things when people are talking about. Waterton, my language, that's a glacial time name. When Waterton and the town site presently was covered in water and ice, and it receded. The water that got big by melted snow and formed two lakes, Waterton, upper, lower. Just that goes beyond whoever coined 10,000 years ago. Kind of getting perturbed about that, and I'm not the only one. There's carbon testing 50, 60,000 years. So I know it's government, colonial, settler, propaganda, bureaucratic propaganda. Archaeologists don't go past 10,000 years because we're not going to find your archaeological dig. I don't know. But there seems to be some guidelines. What archaeologists can say, and anthropologists, and all those that have studied us. Go to the next one. Here's Kainai Ecosystem Protection staff. Elliot, Alex, and some other staff. These are students from University of, or York University, geology students. We teamed up with Earthwatch, and we also trained kind of high school students where they get credits. Transecting. You see this? It always has to be in an angle. And you take 10 meters and you study everything in that. The aspen trees on the background, and there's more trees here. And the age of the aspen, the plants growing, the branch, all that. The whole Western data collection. It's fun. And GPSing. But then, what we're showing the younger people, I told them there's 4 medicines right here. And put the Blackfoot name in there. and I spelled them out. I could write Blackfoot. Never did before, but now. And so we balance so-called Western biology, science thinking, with indigenous thought. What's all there? Then we studied that. Dr. Lilbear and I, Brad knows about it, we're trying to bring back the free roaming bison. I think it's called Panther Valley Canyon in Washington, Jasperia. And they had new calves this year, first time ever in 150 years and something like that. And so we're kind of doing this grass work. How much buffalo or bison can it hold in the park and free roaming, like the moose and the deer? A lot of rancher opposition. Oh, brucellosis, tuberculosis, on and on. Well, they don't know some of that's been there, but it has not happened, is from the elk. So why pick on the buffalo, you know? And, you know, so the unknown reminds me of Calgary Olympic vote. Everybody wanted Olympics, but where to get the money? No, let's have Olympics. And the other ones kind of got smart. Hey, how are we going to pay for this, you know? Well, same thing. We're using scientific data. We're using our own. Ni taps kuna tapsia. Ni tapiksikapsia. The buffalo has a really healthy, if you want to say, lifestyle in what they eat. And how do we know? Because our grandfathers told us when the buffalo, all before they got shot off, were pretty healthy people. No TB, no cancer, and whatever. That now we're still trying to find, you know, cures. We didn't have hospitals. So our diet was really pure because the animal that we lived off, same thing with the fish, produced this. We didn't have to have a stomach ache or whatever. Pure quality food, you know. And today it has changed. Look at really what we're eating. Sometimes all the artificial ingredients, and you look at the box or whatever, you know, all the things in there, you know. So this is our second year. We got one more year with Earthwatch. They're based out of Harvard University, and they're worldwide. From 6 years that I've officially, and those kind of pockets of environmental groups on the blood reserve, I got on council and I said, hey, we're going to have a long-standing environmental group, association, club, whatever you want to call it. And I put that on motion on the floor, and it was passed by chief and council. That's what this morning referred to as the mandate. We are the environmental group. I talked to other bands. They're not there yet. Hopefully they'll be there. And sometimes the politicians kill that thought. Even our own kind. But then they jump on the bandwagon when the water gets polluted here and all that. Well, have constant monitoring. We have fracking on the blood reserve. And that was one of the biggest things I fought. And where's all the money today? You know, and I would say that even to the leadership today. I'm just not scared anymore. Go to the next one. Chief Mountain, Ninastako. I'm slowly getting to indigenous knowledge. This mountain, David Thompson, Anthony Henday, all those early explorers, they asked us, what's the name of this? We gave them, Ninastako. And that name is also from glacial times. Indigenous wisdom also means story and song. It means the dream world. I'll give you a story. There's always the odd one that wrecks it for everybody. We've been conservation stewards for thousands of years. We did not pollute water. We did not overfish. We did not overkill birds and fowl. We did not overkill big game to survive. We never did that. We never did that. We're born conservationists. We don't even have to have a degree. There's just something inside that says, geez, I can't shoot. I got 1, 2 moose. I can't shoot 10 more. Like what Robert is referring to. We have that consciousness, that thing inside. We cannot upset the balance. I'll tell you what I mean by dream world. This guy kept going out hunting 3 weeks, muleys and whitetails. One day he shot 9, and he said, well, no, I'll distribute and all that. Even though he's been out 2 weeks getting that. And then one night he had a dream. The spirit of the deer in his dream. Okay, tsiki. Achsa, kohtas kuna kakspinna. Kisto, tagakan si takpa, koko sixta kichista pipya. The deer spirit came to him. My son, why are you killing all of us? You don't need to. What would you do if I took your children? If I took your children. Today, that man hasn't hunted again. He knew he overdid it. The natural, spiritual laws of the land. When we say indigenous knowledge and learning, like my title, really learning from place. It's right here, not written. No theory, no books. It's actual experience. That man now advocates young people just hunt. You know, but everybody already knew. Why he overdid it, I don't know. Maybe trying out a new gun, I don't know. Chief Mountain has a song. Hey, hey, ha, hey, ya, hey, ha, ya. Hey, ya, hey, ya, hey, ha. Song of Chief Mountain. Could be 20, 30, 40, 50,000 years old. That's what I'm saying. We have a passion for geography, for the land. The name. It wasn't called, King George IV. Pierre Elliott Trudeau Mountain, Queen Elizabeth. We called it Ninastaku, Chief Mountain. It stands out from the rest of the mountain. We gave them real names. This morning you guys heard my thesis. All these map surveyors, explorers from Royal Geographical Society of England, I don't even know them. All put their names, even their little pets, they gave them a name. As they're trying to find a pass for the railway of A.J. McDonald's time, with no consultation, and removing the names that were ancient names. Thomas Blakeney was the leading guy. Waterton was named after Sir Charles Waterton from England that never stepped foot in Waterton, let alone Canada. And here's our name, when the melting of the glaciers. Well, this crazy Indian here wants something changed. I want signage where it says, "Welcome to Watergate Park." I'm going to say, "Okay, Annamok, Bachtum Aksikimi, Blackfoot," and all those other Blackfoot names. Never been done. Nobody has changed 54 mountains. But everybody's talking indigenization, TRC recommendations, repatriation. Well, I want to put that to the hilt, to decolonize. And I want all of you to join me because your own colonial government treats you guys pretty bad too, not just us. Think about it. The freedoms and the privileges of this land, it's supposed to be democratic, but geez, I really wonder about that. Next one. And again, these students, native, blood tribe, teaching non-native students. Those students didn't freak out, "Oh, we're being taught by natives." No. They're being taught by two worlds, two thoughts. Blackfoot indigenous thought about plants. You don't just all pick them up in summer. Some are spring, some are summer, some are fall, a few in winter to get that. In Bachtum Chikimi, otherwise known as Waterton, there's 4 medicines. Since it was protected under the 1884 Dominion Lands Protection Act, just like we're now foreigners to our own hunting medicine areas, Red Squirrel Valley, not Blakeney Valley, Red Squirrel, Mikestu Kaukwi. Our lodge poles are hunting from centuries upon centuries ago. That is cultural, and that is language genocide. Because when you go to some place, it has a name of the formation, or somebody went to pass their vision quest, left with a name. All of a sudden it's taken and you're forbidden. So I found 18 names so far, and they all have a meaning. They're not named after British monarchy or kings and queens or whatever. These are true names of that geographical area. Indigenous knowledge, the name of that. Keep going. In I'm a stomach, that's a bull. Buffalo. Indigenous knowledge incorporates animals. I can sing here all day. There's a buffalo song in the Sacred Horn Society. We're one of the few tribes that still have very strong societies. Blackfoot Nation. And the priests and nuns and the monarchy tried to stop it. We hid underground, or the braves led the Northwest Monkeys that way while we finished the ceremonies. You know, went that way. We've been continuing. And the mountains, sometimes that's where we did them. And now I have to pay, $19 to go into the park. I don't even pay anymore. I'd say I got a meeting with the superintendent. Oh. Even it's 10 o'clock going in the park. I got a meeting at night. I don't want to, why should I pay to ancestral lands where we settled, occupation, hunting, food, ceremony, visions? Why should I'm tired of feeling a foreigner. And the south edge of Blood Reserve, it's only 20 minutes away, Waterton. It might as well be in Tibet, the land. And so, government types here, think about what I'm saying. We talk about collaboration in a certain respect, co-management. We got the expertise on this side. But guess what? We're starting to get the expertise on this side too, of both. Think about it. I could have received, Mike, just get an honorary doctor's degree. What? Well, let me try and earn it. If I were right upside down, yeah, then give me an honorary doctorate. But I'm challenging the system. I'm going to work on a Western type thing, but with a bunch of Indian Blackfoot thought in there. I don't think the instructors at U of L know what to do with me. Here comes Mike. And I don't know who's learning from who. And I have literally told them, kick me out. If you're too much, no, you're valuable. Well, yeah, darn right. I'm the first Blackfoot person in this particular doctrine of philosophy, majoring in cultural social politics. I'm the first Native male in the 3 going on 4 years they've had students. And they've never had a Blackfoot speaker. I do ceremonies. I already got my PhD, but I'm still learning on the Indian side. I do ceremonies, heavy-duty ceremonies. Then I'm learning from the books, methodology, research theory, introduction, on and on and on and on. The paper. We want to bring back the buffalo, and my older brother, Leroy, the free roaming, and then I was sharing with Brad, right next to my house, the Blood Tribe Ranch. Just saw all their cows last Monday, and there was a fire, overgrazed and all that. 2-3 years, we're putting a plan together to have a park similar to what Brad has worked on. And start 2030, all that, and really, and then to have cultural tours. But let me throw in a Western science thought. I'm going to talk to the vice president of the University of Lethbridge to develop 10 courses, if not more, on INI initiative. All the blood work, DNA, genes, everything. People are in chemistry, biology. Could be going to biology or environment, the study of the grasses and the water. 10 courses, and that to be part of it. And they could do their practicum out here. So we're not totally shutting this, like somebody said, departmentalizing, unit and all that, and all of a sudden it can't see it because it's there, gas or matter, We always seem to break things down. Like I told somebody, okay, all right, we got HTO, HO, what's the water again? Yeah, HTO. Now what? The other person says, I don't know. Well, because we broke it right down to whatever, energy. Somebody said 3 bears. I think it's Robert. Holy cow, I think that guy saw my slide. Those are 3 cubs. And like Robert said, I hope they survived. Those grizzly bears are mean son of a guns to black bears. That same day, before the big fire in Waterton, I'd say about another 5-10 minutes, a great big grizzly bear just kind of coming out of the water, got off the spot. From that window right there, jumped back in. I was about, you can see where I'm parked. I got off, And everybody in the truck, get back in, wait. And so hopefully they're all well, but I could see, I think this one a little bit smaller. This morning I prayed in the animal world, the weak, the small, sometimes the cold, the wind. Natural culling mechanism. Sometimes it's other animals. we like to save everything, but sometimes we can't be all over the place. And again, that's not going to be the first time a grizzly killed somebody, but even the grizzly does not overkill. They know their parameters too. So we're going to be bleeding heart, save the whole nature. Then think about it. We can't, because then you're kind of disrupting what Brad and Robert referred to, and Leroy, the natural world. Let it work itself out. Because we're always Mr. and Mrs. Fix-It, you know. Next one. Okay, Blackfoot Arrowhead. 9,000, possibly 8,600 years ago. In Waterton, from Blackfoots, and they're telling me, no, you just got there 2,000, and I'm going to say bull. So this modern finding is changing a lot of things. This was uncovered on last fall's fire. Look at that. And that's being tested. That's the date given. And to me, I'd say, oh, you know, I'll argue that it's 12,000. Prove me wrong. Like Leroy said, we kind of just go by whatever. We should have room for debates and arguments. Because if I said 10,000, 20,000, how are they going to disprove me? Besides retesting and retesting. And even the carbon dating method, people are starting to question that. So I wanted to throw that in. I may be standing, if I was just to use this, standing here when we say indigenous knowledge, maybe my knowledge is 9,000 years old. Think about it. And somebody will ask me, well, how can you know all 9,000? But here's the point. It's like that arrowhead, there's a point. How far back our history and our stories go. This is in Waterton. So no Parks Canada official can tell me, you guys weren't here. They kind of got quiet since August. And one of their workers has and I pity, I wouldn't mention his name, still a buddy of mine, Parks guy, cultural supervisor. I had a ceremony. Ed, sing me a song. Here's my pipe. Pray for me. You're a cultural expert. So I jokingly told him, I'd like to have a badge put it here. Cultural expert in what? From the Western thought, and yet even that, you know. Next one. We say song and dance. Here's a little kid. And I just wanted to use that song and dance. The consciousness of that drum that this young man has to dance to. And his feet and his whole body immersed to the tune of that drum. And that drum coming from the earth, from the singers. And he has to be in sync with it, you know. Imagine when we say song, we really mean it. And these songs like come from the land, from the spirits, from the animals, all that. So why I threw this dancer in, I used to dance, I still drum, sing. When we say indigenous knowledge, it's also when you have that incorporated into your being. And so if a Munias or a European says, oh, I'm an expert on, Indigenous knowledge, all of you should be able to say, okay, Mr. Expert, let's see you dance. So I don't know if they're going to do the line dance, you know how the cowboys do it. This is an example, prairie chicken dancing from prairie chicken. That prairie chicken dancing out there in the prairie, being incorporated into a dance style. This kid is carrying, this young dancer, I think he's about 6, 7 years old. You could feel it, that knowledge. And we kind of say Blackwater Indigenous knowledge. So I want to use that next time. Some of you guys want to go all in, learn how to dance, I'll tell you that. And I'm not saying this foolishly. I think if you ever picked up this dance, you're going to see your spirit and your soul transforming differently. You're going to change just by dancing. Then you might start becoming Indigenous experts. Next one. I was going to Kananaskis. There was one group, another group, and I already passed another group, about 40, 50 mountain goats. Running that road, and the river was just down there, and I was thinking, geez, all these modern highways. Now the animals are using the highways, which were traditionally their migration routes. A lot of these roads came about because elk, buffalo, animal trails. Then we used that, the surveyors look at that. Look, the animals knew how to travel. They're not going to go over big rocks and this, you know. We still have a lot to learn from animals. I've never seen so many in 4 or 3 bunches. And this is late September, coming this way. Are they going to their calving ground? And they're not going to be way up there in the avalanche country. They're going to be where they can eat and fend for themselves and give birth. They're not going to be living where this much snow or that. It's going to be where they can eat. And none of us sitting here, we have all 20 million degrees in conservation. We can't teach those animals where to go. They know. And it's us picking that knowledge up. Like the trap line. Robert must know where those animals go. My great-grandpa used to trap, but then otters and beaver, no money to be made. This was in the early 60s. The old man, he was 70 years old. His way of life slowly changing. Because blood reserve is so surrounded by modern communities. Next one. TP. I use TPs as the whole visual story. And you could, I like to teach teepeology. The ground, the mountains, different season, the animals in the middle, the water, the sacred butterfly, and you don't see the ears here, the 7 stars, 7 brothers. This one, Mayochpokuigs, the wolf, and they come out September, October. Not the Milky Way. What's that word? Pleiades? Yeah, there you go. And that's them. We have stories from within the ground all the way to the universe. And these TP poles is the rest of the universe. Imagine who dreamt of TPs. of the cone shape. You know, if you put an engineer thought on it. The Plains tribes, Sioux, Cree, Plains Cree, Stoney, Crow, all the way down, TP. Did one tribe invent it, or somebody said, hey, you know, I got a picture here, those guys are making this teepee, and you know. But somehow it's universal. Teepees, and they're all different. There's no one in Blackfoot country the same. If you paint your teepee as somebody else, hey, you give me 40 horses and 20 guns and, you know, a pickup truck, because this is at Keepa last summer. This is at Keepa. The people that attended Keepa, somebody was here. You guys saw that, eh? When we had a TP transfer ceremony from Elder Charlie Crow Chief. It wasn't just, you know, there was a process, and he prayed, and he smudged, and he sang. There's a process and protocol of these that are ancient. And we say indigenous knowledge. Those were there. We wanted to give them that opportunity to see the inside. And I know Marley is just dreading, I should have went there. Next one. Here's a buffalo jump that Marley also missed out on.
Next year, Mike.
Next year. This orange is the fat. This is ash. And this is the bottom. It's a 4-layer buffalo jump. Very rare. It wasn't one massive usage. Here's the soil on top where we parked. We went down river bottom, layer of bones, another about foot and a half of dirt, another 4 layers. Blair First Rider works with the province, and you're saying, geez, Napi, that's like 15,000 years ago. I told him, yeah, probably maybe even older. He said, yeah. And both of us agreed, geez, we're sick and tired of this 10,000 year margin. Whoever says that, somebody tell those authors and scholars and experts that Blackfoot people are not buying the 10,000 years. And I don't think we're the only ones. We've been around for a long time. So did you go up there and touch the ash? It's unbelievable. Almost gives you a tingling feeling to connect way, way back. Not too far from my house. So they want to name that buffalo jump after my name, Chief Bird, Nina Peaks, the eagle buffalo jump. So, oh, okay, sure, yeah. I'm not going to say no. Another one, next one. Here's Waterton. Bachtum Xikimi covered all this and part of this in the 2 lakes in one. It's how old Bachtum Xikimi, the name. Lake split in half. It's a glacial name. That's how old this word Bachtum Xikimi. And for parks, people say, oh, 4,000, you guys are nuts. And yet, there seems to be an opposition in academics that keep, you know, and again, they haven't questioned, okay, why did it stop at 10,000? We're just going along with it, but not me. And the instructors didn't like it. I said, geez, I'm going to coin a new word. This is like academic colonization. They didn't like it. I'm not buying you guys' theories. I do ceremonies, and I go into dreamland. Way before those power poles and those still land, my dream. And dreaming of ice. Why would my mind? I'm not the only one. A lot of elders, different tribes, I've shared this, and they say, yeah, I dreamt about ice. how far our psychic goes back. And sometimes I wonder, am I going nuts here, you know? Keep going. Napi tchtai mukwan se tchtai. Two groups, Kipa and in June, I brought people down there. Here's the Old Man River, Valley River. And I told them, take a picture. We're going to go downstream, and you're going to see those. Just because two rivers meet doesn't mean automatically. There's almost two rivers in one. And they, wow, my God, you know that. So when I was a kid, I was going here, and I asked around, right where it meets. A meat offering, tobacco, or a cloth offering. Right there. And the Young Forest Rangers, Junior Forest Rangers program 2 years ago, the summer was both clear. 18 of them. Okay, you guys stand in line. I want you guys to feel where the Valley River Old Man. 7 of them did. Oh, geez, Mike, Mr. Bruised Head, right here. Yeah. 7 of them, all that, the other guys, oh, I'm too thick-skinned. And they were all non-native. I had a lot of fun with them. They were teasing each other. Their skin was too thick and all that. Then I asked them, out of the 7, which feels warmer? Imagine standing there. 4 of them said, the belly. So I asked them, why? What do you think? Like they're waiting for me to tell them. Why? And, oh, well, maybe the stars, the moon, maybe the wind, maybe, you know, a bunch of things. And I said, you know, let me give you my thought. The Old Man is almost straight east, a little odd curve. And the confluence of the Valley River in Lake Harriet, in Glacier Park, out of the park, and then, you know, out of the mountains, just goes like this. Past Standoff till it meets here. And you all know your favorite swimming hole, right? Where the water on this edge, where the curves here, it kind of rapid. And here, you could actually just swim around in your little tractor inner tubes. You don't go floating down. That water kind of sits a little bit longer than moving down. You guys, your swimming hole, you probably noticed that. That water on a hot day has a little bit of time to warm up. So I told them, they're all from Bragg Creek and way up north, Peace River, you know. Tell me, bring a thermometer. Might be a slight difference, but you'll notice. How did you know that, Mike? So me and my brother were watering our horses, got really hot, and we kept diving. Gee, it's kind of cold here, you know. Finally, we said, you know, we went right to where we figured, that's when we found out that, where it was hitting your legs, and then a little bit warmer. You have to have been there. I wanted to use this as really knowing from place. You're not going to get that in a book. You're not. You could search Butterdome Library here, U of A. You're not going to get that. You have sometimes in the natural world, you have to be there to really learn. There's no theoretical documentation. Me ni tapi. What is real, you will learn from there. Ni tsitapyokaksin. And this whole thing needs tapyokaksin, needs tsiposin, real talk, spirit talk. What Tom referred to this morning. Keep going. I end there. I respectfully want to thank all of you for listening to my presentation. And hopefully I've added to your wisdom base. You know, I'm telling you through the eyes of a Ganagwan, Kainai, Blackfoot, of how I see things. On the Indian side of me, I'm doing a doctorate, but driving those people nuts at U of L. So when we say Indigenous knowledge, can you go back to the first page, the title? Now you have an idea how you obtain Indigenous knowledge. Songs, stories, dreams, being there, history, the past, all that. And really knowing from place, you have to be there. Thank you.